If you have a line coming out of the door all the time and you're actually seeing people walk away because they're sick of waiting in line, or they just can't, if you're seeing limitations at the location and you feel like you're at capacity, then that tells any small business owner, hey, it's time to expand.
Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Thank you.
To Real Business Roundtable. Today we're talking about expansion.
Please like and subscribe. Turn on post notifications. Before we even start the video, we know you're going to like it. We're going to add some value.
Yeah, hit the like button.
Hit it. We'd like to see it. Today we're talking about expansion. Expansion.
Hold on. Guys, don't be weird. Just like the video, subscribe. Just don't be weird. Go ahead.
Today we're gonna step back from building revenue and doing sales. We're gonna talk about the fundamental anatomy of expanding a business. So what I mean by that is, what do you do, or how do you take that next step if the goal is to expand? So you have a business, let's say a storefront, just to keep it simple, because it's a very simple business to expand. As far as when it comes to service, you expand the market that you reach. But if it's a storefront, I want to talk about opening up new locations, making sure that it is going to be successful. How do you make sure it is successful? How do you copy and paste a business that is working in your industry? The first business that you've ever started, the storefront, it's working really well. How do you expand from there on? That's what we're kind of talking about. But the only way to expand, just to get right to the basics, is to make sure that one store or that one part of that business is essentially peaked. It's peaked. You've reached a level where you're having a hard time producing the amount of food, amount of product, whatever it may be, but that location, that store, that whatever it is at its peak, and now it's time to move on. Actually, that's a good point. How do you know it's a good time to open up another location?
When your current location is at its limitations based on what is happening at that location. For example, if you have a line coming out of the door all the time and you're actually seeing people walk away because they're sick of waiting in line, or they just can't, if you're seeing limitations at the location and you feel like you're at capacity, then that tells any small business owner, hey, it's time to expand so I can deal with this section of customers on this side of town or in this state or over here that have the same need as over here. So we've seen this before with some of our client projects where we brought them to a level where they had a line coming out the door. They had to expand into a couple towns over, and so on and so on and so on. But the key is locking down a system within your business, all the attributes of a business, from the finances to the product to the process to the marketing, all that stuff. Make sure that's running like a well-oiled machine.
It's a blueprint.
Proven concept.
Yeah. Now
Now it can be replicated. Now we're going to set it up here. Now we're going to set it up there. You're going to have to maybe hire people. You need to fulfill in the same way and keeping things consistent, because you don't want one guy doing it this way and another guy doing it this way, so there's a lack of consistency. Let's take Starbucks, for example. I know, and I like Starbucks, I know when I walk into a Starbucks and I order a cold brew, it's going to taste the same. When I go, what frustrates me about small coffee shops, and I'm all about small business first. I love small business. My issue with smaller coffee shops is I'll go to one will have a mapley taste. Then I'll go to another place, same name, couple states over, whatever. Oh, hey, there's the XYZ coffee. Oh, wow. Like, there's no consistency.
Flavor.
If I want a cold brew, I want the cold brew to say the same. So what I'm trying to get at is Starbucks did a really good job on creating that process, identifying everything into a streamlined process to make sure when they replicate that in China or wherever, it's going to be the same thing. Now, I have seen like YouTube videos of like showing like a Starbucks in like China, and I'm wondering like, does their cold brew taste the same
I wonder. That's interesting.
in another country?
Or in like England or just
Because I know
anywhere,
when I get cold brew nationwide, I'll always stop at a Starbucks at whatever state. It's always the same taste. Every once in a while, they might put a little less dilution. I know they got to add some water into the cup. And a couple of times I've gotten a really strong cold brew.
The
And
only changes is that it's diluted occasionally.
yeah. But that's about it. It's always the same. And it's always a wonderful experience for me because I'm like, okay, I can rely on Starbucks.
Yeah.
I can take that, drink that coffee, and it's consistent. So what I'm trying to get at is if you're looking to expand your business, and I've seen this with like business service companies that went out west. They have a Boston-based office, and then they have a office out west. And you hear like grumblings about, oh yeah, they're a little off, or they're a little like the things aren't really panning out over there. You got to make sure that you have a presence over there. You go out monthly, quarterly, or whatever to make sure that that office is operating appropriately. If it's, let's say you go the franchise route. Visit your franchisees. Make sure that they're maintaining quality.
It also have general managers in place. It depends on how big you are. That's why managers are there. At first, when you expand and you take, I want to go back to the initial risks and stuff like that, but I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But you always want to have someone. You can't manage. It depends on how big you are, but the whole thing is replacing a thing that you do as a business owner. So if you open 3 restaurants and you're the one who's, or 3 whatever storefronts, and you're the one who's going back and forth making sure they're running, your goal should be expansion and making sure that expansion is successful and that it runs properly.
Yeah.
You can hire someone, general manager, regional manager, to go and maintain the operations in each one of those locations.
Consistency is key.
That's it.
And I am not going to name drop this brand. And if anybody knows, I have a secret love for donuts. A nice, tasty,
Not so secret anymore.
glazed donut on a Sunday morning with a hot coffee. Not too much sugar, just enough. All right. So back to what I was talking about.
Consistency. So consistency is so important because...
I'm trying to get to the donut story.
Oh, okay.
Hold on. Donuts. Put down the Hot Pocket. Put it down. Look at your computer screen. Do the editing. Hot Pockets. No, donuts. Donuts. Now, check it out. I was traveling to a different state. I am a fan of this specific donut brand. We're not going to say the name because they f***ed up. I was excited. I was like, oh yeah, hey, I'm going to grab a donut. So I go in there. Place was fucking dirty. Staff was just hanging out on their phones. I ordered a couple donuts. And there was a specific donut that I wanted. And she told me that they didn't have any. So I'm like, okay, they sold out. All right, whatever. Give me a couple and a coffee. Sometimes I do ice, but I prefer the hot coffee. What I'm trying to get at is consistency. This is a franchise that mega f***ed up. So I ordered a couple donuts, and I'm sitting down. And first off, the donuts seemed bootleg. No lie. They did not seem very accurate. I bit it, and I'm like, and here's the thing. Maybe they fucked up the recipe. Make sure it doesn't show up on the mic, because I don't want to badmouth them, because I like them. And I'm like, okay, maybe the recipe fucked up that day. I tried the other one. Dog shit. Real dog shit. A dog squatting is the product. I got a selection of donuts, and at this point, I would bite, almost vomit, put it down. And I would say, which one of these little dumplings is going to make me smile today? None of them. When normally I get a box of 4. And I'm like, oh my God, Jake, taste this. Taste. And I'm keeping it relevant to the story of today's episode, which is consistency in your business and how it impacted me and how I feel about that brand. I'm not a whiny bitch that's going to call the company and go, oh, I'm just going to just register it in my mind and go, I'm going to just let it go because I don't want to get people fired, but holy shit, or I don't want to get people to lose their franchise. Just bad karma. I would rather speak to them directly and go, hey, guys, get your shit together. This is terrible. And the grand finale was the cream that they used was not even, dude, it was fucking not the right shit. It was like if you ordered a McDonald's apple pie and it was filled with jelly. Like apple jelly. You're like, wait, where are the morsels of apple? Where's the cinnamon? Ooh, what's this apple jelly? It was bootleg donuts. Bootleg donuts, dude. I swear, like it was bootleg. You know when you see something like fake, like someone selling bootleg stuff, and you're like, oh yeah, it's always off. Every single donut was off. The coffee tasted like shit you get at Market Basket. It was just like regular coffee. Just like, I'm like, this doesn't even taste like you know who or whatever coffee. So at the end of the day, the brand experience, the experience of this franchise was terrible. It made me upset. It made me feel a certain way. And I'm like, you know what? Holy crap. So it's very important whether you provide food, services, whatever product, doesn't matter. Consistency is key. Do not expand if you cannot maintain consistency. Yeah. And if you plan on expanding, make sure you keep your eyes and ears open, watching, okay, is this the same as this? If someone can walk in here, are they going to experience and get the same thing here? Yeah. That is very important.
Consistency also ties into initial risk management and investment. So like if your goal is to expand, you have to make sure that you are almost guaranteed to be consistent. You're using the same process to create the food or the same, whatever it is, equipment, anything, literally anything, service, anything. And so you got to make sure that that consistency is bulletproof because you have brought this business at the point that it's at now to the revenue that it can handle in the certain location, wherever it is, whatever parameter, certain thing. So now the risk opening up another location is not as much as if you didn't have that consistency down. There's 100% with whatever it is an initial investment, and that initial investment is risky, but you can lower that risk with the consistency of the product, service, solution, whatever it is that you provide. That was one other point that I wanted to make.
Expansion is always more successful if you can document every step and every process within each department of the business, from the finances to the banking, the advertising, the fulfillment, the ordering, the inventory, whatever it is. Document all of those processes together and say like a binder, and you say, okay, this department, this is step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. When you almost create a guide on how to run each location, and you might have some variables here and there based on
location,
laws or whatever in a specific area, but when you have a standard process that you follow, that will be the first step towards consistency within your locations. The other thing that's very important if you're looking to expand is you have to make sure that one, let's say, flagship original location is the prime example of what each additional location should be. From a revenue standpoint, there should be an average ballpark revenue based on the population or based on the local demand.
Also atmosphere too. Like your atmosphere should be
The
consistent.
vibe. Yeah, the vibe, the energy, the experience, all of that stuff needs to be in line. And see, here's the thing. Some people don't want to expand. Some people want to stick with just their kind of their local business and stuff like that. But some people have these big, grand plans. I'm going to expand. I'm going to go nationwide. And it's like, hey, take it easy, dude. You better either hire the right staff that knows how to do this and has done it for other big brands or other smaller businesses but have gone big. Because you'll crash and burn.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't want one guy making toast one way and a guy making toast another way.
Yeah, and that's the same in every industry. I mean, there's also service too. Also, one thing that you have to take into consideration when you're doing any sort of expansion is if you want to make sure that you end up in the right location. So these a business of any type needs to understand the market and do diligence on where you should be. Go to an area where that area lacks of whatever you provide, and make sure that you just got to do your market research. Obviously, understand the market that you're going into to make sure that it actually makes sense for your product. Like, I mean, it's almost like you want to make sure that you understand the competition and just the market that you're going into, and that's pretty much. I mean, I don't know. I guess that kind of ties it up. I don't really know what else to...
All I'm thinking about is Mr. Toastman from Ren and Stimpy.
Thank you so much for joining us today on Real Business Roundtable. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. Please like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you get notified every time we post a new episode. Also,
you guys
check us out on Instagram.
Mr. Toastman?
Updates, and
superhero.
more.
Hell yeah. Hint, Cam.
Peace out.
What is his dark secret?
Shut up!